with, in the West, people didn't even believe that it was possible to have a lucid dream only like 50 or so years ago. The scientific community in the West did not believe that it was possible. In fact, there was a guy who wrote a thesis about lucid dreaming in Princeton University about 50, 60 years ago, which is not really that long ago when you think about it, in the 1960s or 1950s. And he was basically drummed out of his graduate program for suggesting that people could actually be aware and be sleeping in the dream state. So, and that's in contrast to so many indigenous peoples and other cultural experiences, shamanic experiences, the Tibetan canon of literature, the Bunpo, all around the world, all these shamans and lamas were doing amazing things in their dream states. And we were not really aware of any of that. So more recently, it's become accepted that people can both be sleeping and dreaming and still have awareness. And we call that lucid dreaming. And I guess that I'll now segue into how I got interested in all of this and some of my background. When I was a graduate student in psychology, I was tremendously interested in dreams and many of the different theories about how you work with dreams, which are very interesting. For example, one theory is that all the different aspects of a dream are actually part of yourself, projections of yourself. So this is something that I was very interested in. And I studied a number of different systems of interpretation of dreams, including that one, another one where you actually do psychodrama of dreams, which is very interesting also. And I kind of integrated it into some of my courses over the years. So, but then simultaneously, as a graduate student in psychology, I was also beginning to be interested in Tibetan Buddhism and particularly Dzogchen with our teacher, Chogyal Namkhai Norbu. And I remember going to one of the retreats and having a dream, and it was a lucid dream. And I was talking with Rinpoche, Namkhai Norbu Rinpoche. And I was saying that there's a woman, an elderly woman that you're traveling with, and I believe that she's dying and she's very sick. And in my dream, Rinpoche was saying back to me, no, she's okay. She's going to be fine. I'm treating her. Don't worry about her. And then the next morning when I saw Rinpoche, then he said to me, don't worry, she's going to be okay. And that was before I had said anything about my dream. So this was a very interesting moment for me when I realized that not only, did he know what I had dreamt, but he also seemed to be have participated in my dream. So not very long afterwards, I had asked him for permission to begin to collect all of the different teachings and dreams that he had. And so he gave me permission. And so that was a period of maybe 10 years that I worked on that, and some other people helped me. And we put together this book, Dream Yoga, the first book, which Dream Yoga and the Practice of Natural Light. And this book that I'm holding up is the second edition of that book. So we revised it some years ago and added some other material to it. So basically, when we talk about dream yoga, we can say that there are two paths in dream yoga. On the one hand, what I just described is just being lucid in the dream state. This is one path of dream yoga that we would say that we develop through our effort, doing techniques, various techniques. But on the other hand, we have the very profound and much more esoteric path of what we call Dzogchen, and developing an awareness that's actually beyond the mind. So we have the one hand where we do some techniques to develop the capacity to just dream lucidly, but on the other hand, this is something much, much more profound, and is another path that's associated with what we call Dzogchen.
So can you tell us a little bit about when somebody endeavors to begin practicing dream yoga and lucid dreaming, then how do you get them started on that? Do they need to have a special meditation transmission or empowerment, or can just anyone do it? Or how do you get the ball rolling on that kind of thing?
So when we talk about the first path, that dream yoga path of developing lucid dreaming, yeah, there are a number of techniques that we can begin to get on the road of. I like to say that it's kind of a development that we do. First, we have to begin to remember our dreams regularly. And so there's a kind of, there are techniques and trainings for remembering our dreams. And then once we remember our dreams regularly, then we can begin to develop our capacity for lucid dreaming. That is being aware in the dream. And there also are techniques, and I can go into some of them. And then once we have the capacity to dream lucidly, we want to be able to extend the lucid dream and maybe even do something with the lucid dream. Rehearse something, do some sort of meditation practice, solve some sort of problem. So many possibilities exist once we get to that point.
Yeah, I remember very clearly Rinpoche would often teach that we have the opportunity to do meditation practice in our dreams. And, many of us have, he would always point out, we have very busy lives. Sometimes you barely have time to do any meditation practice before you have to get the kids out the door. But in your dream state, that is like a third of our entire lifespan. And why not you can do an entire meditation retreat in that condition.
Yeah. If we are able to lucid dream regularly, then there's many possibilities. On the other hand, from the perspective of Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, we don't want to waste those opportunities by doing like frivolous activities in our dream state. Back in the day when I first started teaching dream yoga with permission from Rinpoche, it was kind of, there were some books that were, have an adventure in your lucid dream, even have an affair, in your lucid dream. And then I think one of the most important messages of the original Dream Yoga book was that it's not just for fun and games that we develop this capacity, but that this is a capacity that will lend itself towards our eventual spiritual development. And even from the Buddhist point of view, towards enlightenment. So